And COVID is critical because this is what convinces people to accept, to legitimize total biometric surveillance. If we want to stop this epidemic, we need not just to monitor people, we need to monitor what's happening under their skin.
What we have, regardless of so-called politics, regardless of so-called patriotism and allegiance to this, that, or the other, it's just about an unimaginably wealthy, controlling, psychopathic, paedophile elite that want their own version of Earth government. And by hook or by crook, they're getting there.
Yeah, they're getting it. I mean, they're not messing around anymore. You know, COVID was a real shot across the bow, and it was the test. I think it tested us to see one of the intentions was to test to see how much we'll take and how much they can get away with and how much they can control us. And I think they were pleasantly surprised at how easy it was. And, you know, so we have digital currency, central banking digital currency coming. They're going to be able to track what you can spend. They'll be able to turn off your bank account if you exceed your carbon credits, stuff like that. This is all about control. Exactly right. And, you know, we've touched on this before, but, you know, climate change has also been, whether you believe in climate change or you don't, it's obvious that the solutions to climate change are there not to actually solve climate change, but they're to control you. And, you know, the whole idea of 15-minute cities and digital currency where they can track how you're spending it, so they can control your carbon footprint, and they can turn off your money so they can stop you from traveling or purchasing or doing anything. So yeah, it's, you know, the things that, you know, Aldous Huxley and Orwell wrote about seem to be coming true, or seem to be living in it.
Okay, your total comes to $525. Right there.
Oh, I come over there?
Yeah.
Oh, and then we just come and talk face to face?
Yes, sir.
Oh. This seems a little absurd, doesn't it?
Nobody will be safe if not everybody is vaccinated.
Are you vaccinated, if I may ask?
Yeah. I mean, I'm very pro-vaccination. Yeah. I believe the science is unequivocal.
Can you imagine that in 10 years when we are sitting here, we have an implant in our brains, and I can immediately feel, because you all will have implants.
Basically implanted in your skull. So, but it would be flush with your skull. So you basically take out a chunk of skull, put the Neuralink device in there. You put the electrode, you'd insert the electrode threads very carefully into the brain.
It doesn't change what you are doing. It changes you if you take a genetic editing. It's a fusion of the physical, the digital, and the biological world.
A merger with biological intelligence and machine intelligence.
An effort for man to merge with machine in a healthy way.
Yes.
To beat machines, you basically have to merge with machines.
Most likely, yes.
As work is changing, is a universal basic income really a solution to this problem?
And I think some kind of a universal basic income is going to be necessary.
Decarbonization of the economy.
I mean, my top recommendation, honestly, would be just to have a carbon tax.
Did you know the EU plans to launch its digital currency, the digital euro, in October 2025?
The deadline for us is going to be October of 25.
Some say the centralized bank digital currency, or CBDC, would be a great way to let Europeans pay more easily across borders, or stop crime. Others say, hey, haven't we been paying with bank digital currency for decades? I vaguely remember using my digital bank card to order a taco blanket on Amazon while smashed on edibles last night. Why is this different? Well, it's the C. And the C word here is a big cunt. C means centralized, which is code for you getting fucked. The power will be with the European Central Bank. They are not elected by anyone, and they have as much control over your wallet as your average Berlin dominatrix has over most of her clients' testicles. Many believe this will give those in control the power to make people do less harmful things, like eating meat, buying petrol, or not complying with the government, or bypass local banks and pave the way for one large powerful bank, or make privacy go bye-bye by making it possible to monitor everything you do, and perhaps connect it to a social actual credit system. But don't worry, this paper by the European Central Bank says it's possible we can have some degree of privacy for lower value transactions. Meaning, as long as you stay somewhere between a €2 soy bubblegum and a €90 I love endless immigration poster, nobody will be watching you.
Digital euro is going to have a limited amount of control. There will be control, you're right. You're completely right. We are considering whether for very small amounts, anything that is around 300, 400 euros, we could have a mechanism where there is zero control. But that could be dangerous.
Luckily, a similar system has been tested in China, and they are very happy with the amount of control it has given them over their slaves.
But it is piloted on a fairly large scale in China, is of use and of service to all citizens. So it is not something that is good for the elite or is good for the young or is good for some versus others.
That's definitely top of their agenda to introduce central bank digital currencies. Now, what is that? How does that fit in? Well, it's marketed in a very devious way. They're telling us, it's the digital aspect that's new. We used to have cash paper, that's old-fashioned. Now we need digital central bank money. Well, hang on. We've been using digital money for many decades.
Of course.
CBDC is the central bank's opening accounts for the general public at the central bank, which means that you just need to create the next banking crisis, and the central banks are very good at doing that. And all the money will leave the banks. The banking system will shut down, and it will all be in the central bank. It's not just that, what I mentioned. It's much worse because it's a programmable control tool.
Of course.
The programmability is really scary.
Instant compliance.
And they have said this, central bankers have said this, that they can then write the rules, and they have the technology to enforce those rules. You have to apply, may I please use it to buy XYZ? Oh, sorry, your carbon footprint has been used up, or whatever the excuse may be, you're outside the 15 minutes city.
Or you criticize the central banks.
Or you've been a critic, criticizing central banks, very sinister.
Welcome to the year 2055, where the AI server farms are draining water. Water is no longer our right, it's a product. You don't fetch water, you scan for it. Drinking water became more expensive because of the unavailability. Hidden near these dried rivers stand monstrous AI server farms, pulling millions of liters daily just to cool machines that generate our data. In the slums, people burn plastic waste to boil drain water just to survive. A smart water ATM scans your face to decide if you deserve water today. If access denied, try again tomorrow. In metros, vending machines sell bottled water. It's not thirst anymore, it's survival. And somewhere, a child drinks the last drop from a crumpled bottle, not knowing when he'll taste water again. And if we don't act now, the next tech upgrade might cost us our last river. Save water and regulate the tech.
2020-2021 was a very vital year for the powers that shouldn't be, because unbeknownst to a lot of people, you were unaware that you are being tested. We were all being tested, right? And that test proved to the powers that shouldn't be how much grip they have on the planet, they have on the whole world, right? It proved to them that there's still a lot of sheeple out there, sadly enough, right? Because a lot of people failed that test. You believed every single lie they sold to you. It got to a point, the lies were so ridiculous. They did all of that for a reason. They made all the lies so ridiculous to see how much you can take, how much it would take to break you. And it was only a few of us saw it for what it is. All the whole distancing and all of this and all of that, and people were just buying into the bull crap narratives, right? Because we're all being tested. And they blew it out of proportion for a reason, to see how much it could take, how much it would take to break you. A lot of people didn't break. They made all kinds of excuses for the powers that shouldn't be, and they hated their neighbors, they hated their family members, right? But it was all a test. That's why I put together a couple of clips to kind of like drive that point home. Because now they have a grip on how to move, what next line of action for them to proceed on, right? Because if something so ridiculous can get the people to give away their freedom, then when they actually introduce something that is very threatening, people will just give up whatever freedom there is, right? And you heard Yuval Noah Harari talking about how necessary 2020, 2021 was to usher in this surveillance state, this police state, right? All they got to do is just give you a boogeyman, and then you will surrender your, quote unquote, God-given rights. That's all they got to do. And they understood it. And they going with that. They're going with that because, believe you me, they are coming after every kind of rights you think you have. They are coming after it. And they will use whatever tool necessary for them to achieve that, right? You've heard them about trying to regulate the internet, all in the sake of, oh, we're doing it for the children, for the kids, and all of that. You see? And they're trying to put surveillance under your skin. Surveillance under your skin. And for them to achieve that, to be able to put a device under your skin to track and monitor you every single time, they have to do a trial run to see how much it would take to convince you of that. And 2020, 2021 was that trial run. They understood, okay, we can actually go forward with this. We can go forward with this. And they will believe whatever it is will push to them. Before we go any further, all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Chahakodash. Double honors to apostles and elders of Great Millstone who taught us this truth and continue to teach us this truth. Peace, salutation, shalom, shalom, shalom. To all your brothers and sisters out there that are of the household of faith, beginning with 144,000, to the men, women, and children that are allotted to be delivered in these latter days, who are all of the elect, and to the brothers that are pushing this gospel in all sincerity and in all honesty, to you all I say shalom, which means peace to you, right? So we are at a crossroad right now where if you're not mentally fortified, if you're not spiritually sound, man, you will fall victim to whatever it is they're about to do. Because believe you me, they're about to pull something very massive, something so crazy that it will shake people's belief to the core. Even people that are aware of how the wicked elites are, right? They're about to pull some crazy crap that will, shake the believers, so to speak, to the core of them. That's how crazy it's about to be. And how do we know this? Well, they did the trial run with 2020 off of nothing, really. All they just did was just push fear. And people just bend the knee and give up whatever rights it is that they had. They didn't even give a flying F. They folded real quick. So imagine when they actually present you a real boogeyman, a real life-threatening situation, because they will take it there. They will definitely take it there. However means they will do it, they will do it, because they have an agenda. Remember Agenda 2030? Used to be Agenda 2020, now they moved it to Agenda 2030. If anything, they're behind. So that's the whole idea behind Operation Warp Speed, because they're looking to fast forward to get to the agenda, right? So that agenda includes the whole net zero, climate change, CBDCs, all of that, which there's one term for that: total control, right? Total control. And this is what they've been working towards. And the clips that I put together, even this one here, I had to mute it because, you know, he's going into a lot of stuff that might trigger the algorithms, right? But that's all part of even the jabby jabs and things like that. It's all part of that, right? And we are coming down to the wire, man. It is coming down to the wire where you need to be mentally sound, spiritually sound, to be able to, you know, decipher the deception, the lies, to sift through the lies, the deception that are very convincing. Very, very convincing. This is the book of 2 Corinthians, the 2nd chapter and the 11th verse. It says, so that Satan will not outsmart us, for we are familiar with his evil schemes. You see that? So that's what they did. That's what they did in 2020, 2021. They outsmarted a lot of people out there because they look at you as a goyim. They look at you as a sheeple, right? Somebody that is not capable of making their own decisions. That's why you have to surrender your decisions. You have to surrender all your rights to the totalitarian, tyrants, so-called governments, to do all the thinking for you. Now they've given you AI, they've given you ChatGPT and things like that. People don't even know how to do critical thinking. Everything they run to ChatGPT, they, you know, all of that. I mean, you can use that, but don't let it deprive you of your own critical thinking. Know how to do your own thing sometimes, right? So that's what they do. They're getting it to the point where people won't be able to do their own thinking, do their own, you know, quote unquote research and things like that. You just surrender that to the powers that shouldn't be and the technology to do that, all of that for you. And this is how they outsmart you, right? They will outsmart you like that. But to us that are deeply rooted in the truth, in the gospel, in the wisdom and understanding of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, guess what? We'll see their schemes from a mile away. Just like we saw it in 2020, 2021. Whatever it is they're about to pull right now, we'll still see it. We're still seeing it right now. The little things they're doing, letting loose their, their sleeper agents, because they're coming after your guns. They're coming after whatever rights you think you have, all of it. First Amendment, Second Amendment, all of it. They're coming for everything, man, everything. You see? So we can't let them outsmart us. We're very familiar with the way they operate. You know, that's why I put together all these clips. You know, it will show you about all these things. A couple of these clips here. Like here, this guy, Professor Dr. Richard Werner, WEF whistleblower and economist at Tucker Carlson, on the dystopian plans and possibilities with CBDCs. So he was kind of like breaking it all down. Says the push for CBDCs is the latest step in a decades-long program by central planners to increase their power over people. That's where we are. They increase their power over you. It's total control. So CBDCs is a new form of money controlled by central banks and states directly to your smartphone, right? I mean, this is where it starts, from your smartphone to directly inside of you. And you have Yuval Noah Harari say that, surveillance under your skin. So all these apps, all these things will be embedded directly inside of you. You even have the CEO of Nokia made the statement that very soon there will be no need for phones and things. Why? Because you will become that. All that technology will be put directly inside of you. That's where you get your IoTs and IOBs, Internet of Bodies and Internet of All Things, right? Even your brain computer interface, BCIs and things, right? That's where it's all headed. So CBDCs is a new form of money controlled by central banks and states directly to your smartphone, then every cent will be traceable, who, when, where, and for what was paid. It is programmable and it can be conditioned. See? And the same kind of sentiment here, here they even tells you about that. One of the intentions of the C Ragamuffin was to test to see how much we will take and how much they can control us. And I think they were pleasantly surprised at how easy it was, right? People didn't even want their family members around. That's how crazy it was. You didn't want your family members around because, they didn't take the juicy juice and things like that, right? So they did the experiment. They carried it out well, and it proved the point to them that they have these guys by the balls, right? They have the majority of the masses by the balls. You see? But some of us held strong. Why? Because we were not ignorant of their evil schemes. We saw them for what it is. We understood the agenda and where it's all headed, right? And part of that, look at this. See, this is back in I'll put together all this clip. This is how you can't pay to have that. So they made it all outrageously nonsensical, if you will, right? All the rules they were setting up, it didn't make no sense. Even your mask didn't protect you from nothing. You put on your mask and you go to a restaurant to eat, you take it off and start to eat. Then the V takes a break from attacking you or what, right? You see? They did it all like that for a reason, just to see how much it would take to break you. And a lot of people just kept on, no matter how idiotic the rules were, they just kept following it. They just kept following it, right? It says here, they deliberately made the COVID restrictions as absurd as possible. It was a test. If you can use fear to manipulate people into complying with blatantly nonsensical rules against their own interests, you've already conquered them psychologically. Sadly, most people fail the test. And I mean, some of us that understood what was going on, we saw it, man. We're just like, damn, this is how easy it is to just play with the minds of these people here, right? And I put together all these clips, you see it, and you check them out. So back to the scripture here, Psalms the 64th chapter and the first verse. For the choir director is Psalm of David. It says, "O God, listen to my complaint. Protect my life from my enemies' threats." So you're under a threat, whether you understand it or not, from your enemies. Why? Because they have an agenda. They have a quota to meet, right? They're looking to hurry up and bring about their enterprise. And their enterprise is their NWO, right? That is their enterprise. And for them to establish that enterprise, a lot of deception has to happen. A lot of bloodshed has to happen, right? You see, a lot of lives got to go. Bring about all kinds of false flags, all kinds of pestilence, diseases, whatever it is they would do. Shut down the power grid, the internet going, right? All this stuff they would do just to shake the world to the core so they can establish their NWO. That is how you are under this threat by your enemies. These are guys that they don't shy away from bloodshed. As a matter of fact, they love it. They love to shed blood. This is how they get off. It says, hide me from the plots and of this evil mob, from the gang of wrongdoers. You see that? From the plots of the evil mob. That's what you're dealing with here. A mob of evildoers, man, wrongdoers. They come up with plans just to destroy. No matter where they are, the EU, UN, WEF, Davos meetings, Trilateral Commission, Bilderberg groups, whatever it is, they are plotting evil schemes. Why? Because they are the evil mob. That's what they do. That's how they get down. They don't know how else to do but to do wrongfully. See? So they sharpen their tongues like swords. They aim their bitter words like arrows. So after this evil mob has come up with their plot, guess what? They put it in motion. How? Well, they write it into laws, man. They write it into executive orders, legislations, and policies, right? That's why it says they sharpen their tongues like swords. So now they don't even have to physically use swords to attack you. They just put it in laws. They did that in 2020, 2021. A lot of people felt helpless, and they went and took the jabby jabs, right? Because they told you that if you don't get that, you will lose out here, you will lose out there, and they put it in. They mandated it, right? They mandate it, right? It was mandated, so to speak, right? That's how they aim at you with bitter words like arrows. So it's words, but it's doing damage just like you would use a weapon. You see? So they shoot from ambush at the innocent, attacking suddenly and fearlessly. Out of nowhere in 2020, 2021, the whole world was locked down. Out of nowhere, just out of nowhere, they told you that something is in the air. You go out there, you're done. You see? They ambushed a lot of people out there because he had no clue. That's why people fell victim to it. It just came out all of a sudden. And now people are just dropping suddenly, right? People are dropping suddenly because all of a sudden they caught you in that ambush. You fell victim. It says, suddenly and fearlessly, they encourage each other to do evil. That's what they do. They have all these talking points and they're egging each other on whatever agenda it is that they're pushing. They're complimenting each other and just backing each other. That's how they encourage each other to do evil and plan how to set traps in secret. How many Davos meetings have we seen? That's what they do. You see? Plan how to set traps, how to totally control every aspect of your life to the point where they're looking to not only make you a physical slave, a tax slave, a debt slave, now they're trying to make you a digital slave. See? As that traps they set in secret. Who will ever notice, they ask. So you don't know. The people out there, they're just sheeple. They have no clue. And 2020, 2021, it reinforced that ideology that the people out there, they are just gullible, right? They will fall for anything we feed them. They will gobble it down. You see? It says, as they plot their crimes, they say we have devised the perfect plan. The NWO, the Great Reset, the Fourth Industrial Revolution, right? The Mark of the Beast. That is their perfect plan to totally control every aspect of your life to the point where they're trying to put surveillance under your skin. Before they could do that, they have to soften you up. They have to soften you up to present you with CBDCs, digital identity, social credit score system, universal basic income, things of that nature, right? That is their perfect plan, their NWO. So you'll be a perpetual slave. See? It says, yes, the human heart and mind are cunning, right? For a mind to come up with this kind of plans that we could at least come up with, man, that is some crazy stuff. To use their technology, they get the upper hand on the people and just push fear, and through that fear, they take away, they have you relinquish your own rights. You do it yourself. They pump out fear like that, man, you will give up whatever rights that you think you have. It says, but God himself will shoot them with his arrows, suddenly striking them down, right? So in other words, the Most High will judge them for all they've done, all the bloodshed, the deceptions, the lies, the false narratives, the falsehoods, the pseudoscience, right? It says their own tongues will ruin them, right? That's how you have whistleblowers. So people that used to be in the circle, they end up going de facto, you know, they falter from the circle, from the club, and they start to spill the beans. Not only that, in their own pride, they spill the beans. Because to them, you're just a sheep. No matter what we tell you, you still got to believe us anyway. See? So their own tongues will ruin them. Like, you know, they have that saying, symbolism will be their downfall. That's what it is. Symbolism will be their downfall. So their own tongues will ruin them. It says, and all who see them will shake their heads in scorn. So when you eventually understand how these devils get down, anytime they're trying to push whatever, man, look, who do you think you're fooling, man? I know what you are. I know how you get down. You can't fool me. Then everyone will be afraid. They will proclaim the mighty acts of the Most High and realize all the amazing things he does. So all this stuff will eventually lead people to worship and acknowledge the one true living God, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Right? Because you will see that he is in control. He is in charge of everything. When he brings the wicked down, it says, the godly will rejoice in the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, and find shelter in him. And those who do what is right will praise him. And that's where we are, man. You cannot let these devils get an advantage of you. Stay sharp. Stay chiseled. Right? Keep your mind sharp. Keep your medicine strong. Stay in the spirit. Right? So you will not be easily deceived, because a lot of deceptions are going around. And a lot of deceptions are going around. If you snooze, you lose. If you snooze, you lose. And with that, all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakah HaKodash. Double honors to apostles and elders of Great Millstone. See you next time, Lord willing. Shalom. Shalom.